Hey guys, so it's kind of a pop-up live stream this morning. It's an unscheduled live stream, but I thought it would be fun to share with you a little project that I'm working on. This is actually for my wife. She is a reseller on eBay and whatnot, other platforms, and I help her in this business as well. So we're doing some what they call preview cards. They're basically the preview image of your store or when you are going live. And so, like on Whatnot, you have if you're not familiar with Whatnot, it's basically a big reselling platform, and sellers get on there. They sell all sorts of things. She happens to sell mostly clothing, and so the card needs to be something impactful, um, engaging, and simple because they're pretty small. So that's what I'm working on this morning. This has been kind of on my to-do list for a while, and unfortunately, I've had other projects that have interfered with really getting underway with it for a while. But this morning, I'm devoting some time to completing it. So that's what we're working on. So thanks for joining. If you are here live or if you are watching the recorded live stream, I really appreciate your support and interest, and try to make these live streams interesting. I don't get on here to just screw around. I'm usually, if I'm working on something, then I feel like it's worth sharing, then I will do that. Typically, I the live streams run from 11 a.m. or yes, 11 a.m. to 12 Tuesdays and Fridays. That's the schedule that I've created for this. But since I have this little project happening, I thought it would be fun to just go live here. I'm calling it a pop-up live stream. I don't know if that's the correct terminology. Hey Angie. Yes, I you should. So I don't know if you were on here a minute ago, but this is a preview card for Tina's reselling business, and this is specifically for the Whatnot shows. And if I zoom out here, you can see it's going to be pretty small. So the art is going to be pretty simple. It's not going to be uh, super elaborate. How's the weather up there? It's been pretty cold here. I mean, cold by Florida standards, but I know it's been pretty rough up north lately. Oh, nice. 50s. Yeah, we were down. It was 38 this morning. I took the boys to school. It's their birthday today, so that was a little extra birthday present for them. And it was very cold. 38. Coldest winter that we've had, I think, in a long time. I think it's the coldest one I can recall since moving here. Thanks. I'll tell them. They're 17. Pretty crazy. Trying to give each one of these articles of clothing some kind of little bit of personality, a little bit of detail. I don't want them to look too generic. It's supposed to convey variety. Yeah, as you know, they grow up quick. And they have no interest in getting a driver's license. Really trying to get them motivated to do that. We'll see how it goes. We actually had a little bit of snow. I mean, uh, it's just like a little dusting, like a few little very small snowflakes. I think that was maybe last Friday, last Thursday. And I only noticed it because I was driving home and it was night, and so I could see some of it on the in the headlights the car. I could see a few little just random snowflakes. Of course, kids here go crazy about that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean it's kind of one of those, you if you blink you miss it sort of thing. I'm not sure if maybe people in northern Florida, maybe they got a little more, but that was all we had. So, Angie, are you finding that you still feel just as busy as being retired, or is it different, in that way? Because I hear like some people say that they still, even though they're technically retired, it seems like there's always stuff going on that they have to do, fill up their day. Nice. Well, I guess that's the ideal scenario then. like to just pan back really far once in a while just to make sure this thing is going to look, it's going to scale down nicely. Whoops. Right? I bet. Especially that commute. I mean, that was just rough, I'm sure. Definitely something I don't miss about working at in brick and mortar. Just that I always had just not great commutes. It's really just kind of wrecked me. It's just all that sitting, and then with my job, I was sitting during the day too, so it was just really not a good combination. Better save my work. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not a. It's not great to do that. I've got a sit stand desk here that's pretty nice. I need to start. I need to start using that a little more. I've been sitting recently a little too much, but that's great. That's a great way to combat all the sitting. Maybe we'll do like a polka dot. It's a polka dot dress. What's Alan into this morning? Elite Dangerous? I don't even know what that is. Oh, all right. I think I'm about done with the inks. Just gonna refine a few things here. Get a little bit more thicker outline here around Tina, so she kind of pops out a little bit. I feel like I should put something back there, like another article of clothing. It's kind of empty. I'll just do another shirt. Nice polka dots, thank you. Maybe a polo shirt. I don't think I have a polo shirt on here. Let's draw that out. Oh. All right, get rid of our pencil lines under here. Don't need that. So I think what I'm gonna do, so we're gonna color it next. Um, I usually switch back and forth between Clip Studio and Photoshop when I'm coloring. So I'm going to do that here. But first, I have to save this as a Photoshop file because currently it is a Clip Studio file and Photoshop does not like Clip Studio and vice versa. So, well, no, not vice versa. It's Clip Studio can open Photoshop files, but Photoshop cannot open Clip Studio. So we'll just save this. All right. Then we're going to come in here. There it is. This is actually one of the products for the show. I had to do a little Photoshop dropping out the background. All right. This was my sketch, which helps me really figure out what the colors will be. And it shows, originally I had her sitting on the top of the world, so to speak, and then we decided to change that. I think that's a better concept. But I can grab some of these colors. So what I'm doing right now, these are just what are called the flats. I'm just really kind of segmenting all of the pieces into basic colors. Actually, I think make that a little lighter. And I do this work in Photoshop because Clip Studio, I don't know if it's my settings or what, but the lasso tools are kind of a little bit clunky, and they're not quite as precise as Photoshop. So I like to do all of my flats in Photoshop. I am hopeful that this card will stand out amidst the sea of AI slop that these resellers are using. I feel like it will. So I'm just really trying to leverage my skill sets into this business and kind of give it that little bit of advantage that many of these resellers don't have. A little bit flesh tone, just right. So the flats don't have to be accurate. They really are just, they're just there to get all of these pieces defined so it's easier to color. Because then I can just select those pieces and deal with those. Kind of block that in for now. So I am planning to start live streaming from TikTok soon. I'm not quite, I don't quite qualify yet. I'm getting there. Um, uh, you have to have 1,000 followers. And I'm gaining followers every week. I think I've been on it for about a month now, and I'm up to 250. So um, when that happens, I'm probably going to. Well, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to add TikTok to my multi-stream. So I'll continue to do the multi-streams, but TikTok will be added to that, and I'm hopeful that things um, will pick up there with the social media. Uh, Twitch is okay, but Twitch is mostly seems to be mostly gaming and that sort of thing. And there are some comic book artists on Twitch who do what I do, but I don't think there's a lot. Uh, I think there's probably more on Instagram. I am multi-streaming on Instagram too, so um, hoping that will gain a little more traction. Of course, the ultimate goal is to monetize this. I am playing the long game. I do have my own retirement to think about someday in the far distant future, and I would like to have things in place where I can, have more passive income happening. And that part of that is through social media, monetizing that. There are a lot of creators that are doing it, so I'm really just trying to get that established. Yeah, I know. I think I follow him. Um, yeah, TikTok. It's a lot of junk, just like a lot of the social media. I'm trying to follow comic creators and artists that I like. I think that part of it's pretty informative. Um, And it's like it's just a game. You play the game. You have to get engaged in conversations because it helps your algorithm, and it increases your followers, and then that in turn increases the monetization aspect. So that's sort of how I treat it, is playing that game. Just, it's just part of the workflow of doing it. And um, I don't know. TikTok is, yeah, there's just a lot of these little short video clips and things, but that's what people are into now. And so I'm trying to sort of get on board with it, with my art, and just marketing it in that way. Um, that's really kind of the extent of it. Oh, that shirt's gonna be a checkered shirt. I think we got one next. It's a lumberjack shirt. Hey, Andre, thanks for joining. Welcome. I was just talking about um, TikTok and social media, and how it's kind of unfortunate, but it is an important part of an artist's uh, toolkit of self promotion and marketing. I am working on a Whatnot show card art for my wife, Tina. She has a reselling business, and I am a partner in that business, and we're just doing some promotional work for it. I'll make this dress green. And this art is intentionally very simplistic. It's not really my usual thing, because when you scale it down, it's actually going to be seen at about that size, right, on phones and desktops. So it has to be pretty simple. Just grab this color I selected from my rust. This one is a flower print. I'll just maybe make that like a yellowish green. Typically, I hire a flatter for this kind of thing, but I'm pressed for time to get this finished, so just going to deal with the flatting myself. And like I said, it's pretty simple. It's not a super complicated drawing, so it's not going to be a lot of time involved. So I'm usually I usually do the live streams Tuesdays and Fridays. That's my new schedule, at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, but this was kind of a pop-up live stream because I've got this project that I'm working on. I thought it would be fun to share that. Make that gray, but I think that one's going to be more of like a light gray, some sort of fur coat thing. Oh yeah, the AI is. I mean, I really tried to. I tried to use it. I really felt like, okay, I really need to get ahead of this as an artist and as a designer, and see what use does this actually have, and uh, can it really can it help my workflow? Can it speed up certain things that I normally do manually as an artist? And um, it's not like I just dabbled in it either. I really tried to apply it to some of my, um, some of my processes, and I have to say it was a complete and total waste of time. And I like to think I am ahead of the curve, and I'm progressive in my tool sets. I try to just really utilize the best and the current, what's coming, and stay ahead of things. And it's junk. It's just junk. But it's terrifying because it seems like the average person doesn't see that. They don't recognize how awful and generic, and everything looks the same, you know. Uh, and it's bad. It's not like it's even well done. The latest thing I've seen are these caricature art that people are posting on Facebook and stuff. And they're all so thrilled and excited about it. And it looks awful. None of the likenesses look right. They're not accurate. And they all look the same style, that greasy, kind of uncanny valley, weird. Ugh, it's just bad. But the terrifying thing is that it seems like the vast majority of people don't recognize that. They're just like, oh, I can make art now, and so they think that what they're doing is good. It's almost like the clip art of the 90s when that came out, when digital clip art became a thing. There were all these people making brochures and flyers and posters and stuff with clip art, and it was also terrible. Um, but people were kind of eventually realized it was bad, and then you know they turned to artists and designers and people to utilize the clip art in a good way, or to create things differently. So, I mean, maybe that's going to happen with AI. I don't know. Um, I want to believe that, but I don't. I'm not real confident that that's going to happen. But we'll see. Uh, I'm trying to really keep a very close watch on it and see what else develops. But uh, it's theft. It's just outright. it is outright theft of artists because these AI bots are just gathering up all of these drawings and paintings and all the stuff, and they're just flowing it into their generative output, and it's all based on real artists. So it's just theft, and uh, maybe people will start recognizing that. I don't know. I have to believe though that ultimately people are going to want human created art. That's maybe that will eventually become more of a uh, sought after thing, you know, because there will be so much of that slop out there that people will start turning to humans again, and it will actually enable artists more and kind of raise up their value in a sense. Oh yeah, the environmental part is terrible too. There were people up in arms about NFTs, how terrible that was for the environment, and I think this is like way worse. I mean, let's not forget that the internet is bad for the environment. It's not just NFTs and AI. It's all of that. But I guess we have to choose our demons. What's the worst? What are the lesser of two evils? Grabbed blue from her jeans. I gotta fix that. Let's see. Oh, there's the problem. It's working on the wrong layer. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how this is going to shake out. Is it going to plateau? Good. You know, it can only much create, or will it continue to uh, grow and learn to the point where it's unrecognizable from human art? I just don't know. Right now, I mean, there's videos that are getting there already to see what's what. Pretty bad. They need to regulate it. I just don't know how they can do it, but it needs to be regulated, just like any other thing. You have to set limits on it, or we're gonna be, you know, we're gonna be like in a Terminator movie. Is it? I didn't know. I didn't know that it was having that kind of effect on RAM. I'll make that different color. Hmm. And I haven't had to buy any RAM in a while, so did not know. Oh, shoot. My lasso tool got away from me. Come on. There we go. What about some purple polka dots? I'm also creating some stickers that will be uh, kind of a different version of this. But I'm not doing that today. All right, we're getting there. It's one big pile of clothes. That's that one up. No, maybe not. Just little random pieces of clothing. Doesn't have to be anything specific, if I can say that word. All right, now it's just a matter of kind of a little bit of cleanup here on the edges of a few things. Nope, missed one. Let's color that in here. Buttons. Oh, I didn't even see that that was you, Alan. I thought that was kind of a Angie. I didn't know Angie was really into following RAM costs of RAM, but all right. I'm gonna have to get, I think, a new battery for my Mac Pro laptop. It's taking forever for the battery to charge, and it just started. This just started a few days ago. Um, I've had that laptop since 2019, so that's probably the issue. And that model, it's the Intel, so it's before the M1, but they Apple, I guess the way they installed the battery, it's glued in, and you have to dissolve the glue, which is this really delicate process. So I may not be able to. I'm not sure I want to tackle that. I may have to actually take it somewhere and get it replaced, get the battery replaced, which sucks to do that, but kind of looks like that might be on the horizon. And I think the new ones you can't even, like, I don't even think you can do anything under the hood with the new MacBooks. Well, it seems like it doesn't maintain the charge as well as it used to, but I'm not entirely sure yet. But it took forever to charge it. It took it like a day to charge it overnight, which was really unusual. Just add a little shading here. I think I'm just gonna keep these colors pretty flat, simple. Do that on a different layer. Power, yeah, I guess it could be the power supply. Try something else here with that. So now it's got a nice checker print. See what we can do with this one. Buffalo plaid. Okay, good to know. I call it lumberjack plaid, but that's just me. Oh, string white. Hmm, get rid of that. Right, what's going on here? Multiply layer. Is that not? Oh, that's why. Let's take a long view. Yeah, I think this is going to look pretty cool. And I don't think I need to put a lot of detail on the pile because we're going to have this logo in front of it and a gradient. All right, let's put a little detail on Tina. I'm going to take it back into Clip Studio for some of the gradient work. But before I do that, I'm going to do a big gradient. That way though. Let's see here how I'm going to do this. All right, we've got a gradient in the background. Then we're going to have, no, let's see, one here. Then we'll put a little drop shadow behind the logo, I think. So we've got a nicer contrast so it's easier to read. I may have to do more of a manual gradient on that. Plug my phone in. All right, not really sure yet how to deal with that logo. I think for now, I think I'm just going to hide it for now and just really just focus on getting the colors finished. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining. Chat is hopping. All right. I think the AI has gotten better since then. I think it's learned how to create the correct number of digits. All right, I'm gonna close that. Head over to Clip Studio. Let's just open that back up here. How's the weather there, Matt? I'm assuming it's cold. All right, it's taking a bit to open, but it will open. All right, now we can. It's weird. I have multi-stream on my Streamlabs, but for some reason the chat I can't see. It's like my multi-stream chat does not work on Streamlabs, which sucks because I'm paying for the multi-stream setup. All right, whatever. I don't want to troubleshoot it right now. All right, so now I'm in Clip Studio and I can kind of do a little more finessing. Create a new layer for that. I really like the brushes in Clip Studio more than the Photoshop brushes. So I tend to come over here to do that. But having said that, it stinks because I'm also multi-streaming on YouTube. But if anybody is on YouTube, I can't see their comments. So um, apologies to anybody that might be there. But I do have Instagram and um, Twitch here that I can see. All right, we're just about done, I think. All right, let's take a look. There's the logo. Trying to get a little more contrast on that logo. I'm basically just studying the image at a really small size. I need to fix that. Thanks, Angie. Yeah, I want it to really pop because there's just a ton of these kinds of images, but many of them are really these murky AI generated crap. And I think that if I have something that's colorful but simple and bright, I think that will help it stand out. All right, I think that's close. I got too much stuff open, slowing me down. Any day now. All right, so we're going to close that again, and then I am going to go back into Photoshop. All right. So the other little trick I'm going to do here is I'm going to kind of push these floating clothes a little bit into the background. And the way to do that, I'm going to do what's called a color hold. And I'm going to convert the black lines to a slightly lighter color. And that will help kind of add depth and uh, separate the clothes, these floating clothes from Tina in the foreground, or it should. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to go into my channels window down here. It's kind of hidden. Going to create a channel. Going to paste in those lines. Looks like it kind of shifted it a little bit. I'm going to just move those. And I'm going to select a color. I think might kind of push them back a little bit. And go back into my layers. All right, let's try that again. Must have hit the wrong key. Oops, it's not one of mine. All right, I guess I got to go back. Somehow deselected those lines. Didn't want to do that. Here. All right. So as you can see, the outlines of the clothing is a little lighter. Also not too sure about this gradient yet. Another little thing I could do. See, my concern is it's a little cluttered behind that logo, but I think I have a solution to that. I'm going to flatten this image. Oh, wait, I'm going to merge my spot channel, copy that. Then I'm going to undo and go back to my layers. Then I'm going to paste in that flattened layer right here. I'm going to apply a blur to that. This will all make sense soon. And I'm going to erase the blurred layer here. Put our logo back. Now kind of soften the edges a bit around the each side of the art, and especially behind the logo. Don't know if I want to blur all of that though. Mainly just that pile of clothes I want blurred. And I think I might blur it a little bit more. So I created an additional layer. Now I think we got it. All right, I think that's it. I think that's going to do it. Guess maybe the only other little tweak I think I might try. Just have just a little bit of a gradient there on those shirts. I'm going to get rid of some layers. It's getting to be kind of a mess with my layers. So something I always try to do towards the end of the project is to clean up the layers. So if I need to go back in later, it's not a mess and I can quickly do what I need to do, right? I can label and name these layers appropriately, like what even is this layer? Nothing. Let's get rid of it. All right, that's my gradient. I'm going to call that blur. That's the other blur. I'm going to call that highlight. That's my line art. If I can spell it, line art. That's highlight. So there's a lot of highlight layers. So there's my flats here. Let's call that flats. That's the paper. And I'm going to group these in a folder, highlights. So now it's pretty organized. I'm actually not sure I like that white gradient just because it sort of makes the that shirt look like it's faded, and we don't want that. They do need to look like they're new. Just some considerations. So I'm going to fix that real quick. Same for this shirt. All right. I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your support. I appreciate it. If you haven't yet, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my Twitch channel. You can also commission original comic art over at my Etsy store. There's a link that's been popping up there on the bottom left corner. However, if you go to the recorded live stream over on my YouTube page, you'll see a direct link to my Patreon page. My commissions are open. Have several commission options to choose from there. You can also join my Patreon page. I update it twice a week, Thursdays and Fridays, with really just like process shots, whatever I'm working on currently. I do have a graphic novel I'm developing, and I'm posting regular updates to that. So if you want to get a sneak peek behind the scenes view of that project, you can get exclusive content there at my Patreon page. It's also in the notes, the comments section on my YouTube, or on the link. If you're here live, you can click on that there. And that's it. I will be back here Friday. I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tuesdays at 11 are my regular scheduled live streams. Tuesdays and Fridays. So hopefully see you back here again for one of those, or check in on me on one of the other social channels that I just mentioned. Have a great one.